Die Ruhe vor dem Sturm, die kosten heute noch einmal aus. Willkommen zurück, Leute. Heute ist nämlich ein großer Support-Part geplant. Wie so oft vor Hauptmissionen natürlich. Wollen wir nochmal uns ordentlich mit allen Charakteren beschäftigen. Möglichst nichts verpassen. Und da hat sich diesmal wirklich eine ganze Menge wieder angestaut. Ihr seht schon. Kunterbunt. Wahnsinn. Okay. Ich würde mal anfangen mit Doro. Die möchte aber nur mit uns reden. Alles klar, machen wir das doch. Sehr gut.
That reminds me, I actually found myself at a noble's tea party not too long ago.
Oh, you must be talking about Sylvain, right? Probably had something to do with the woman?
No. It happened while I was doing some work as a bodyguard. The nobles who threw the party even gave me a cup of tea to show their appreciation. I didn't really know what to make of it, though. Hard to say if it was even good or bad.
Understandable. Settings like that tend to choke the flavor out of any food or drink you happen to come across, among other things.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm built for all that fancy stuff. Hey, remember when I asked you to sing for me? You belted out a verse from one of your operas? It kinda reminded me of that tea. It's like, I just don't have the background for that sort of stuff. If you don't grow up in it, you're not gonna get it.
Everyone has a right to those things, though. Taking in a tragic opera, letting an elegant meal dance across your taste buds. Nobody should be excluded from those pleasures just because they were born a commoner.
Ja, definitiv.
It'd be good if that's how things worked.
You think it's not?
Take my time back as a mercenary. I would have gladly eaten a half-cooked rat if it meant I was getting food in my belly. It's only since I joined up with this army that my palate's become a little more discerning. But what I'm saying is, if you never have the chance to eat good food, then you'll never know what good food is supposed to taste
Boah,
like.
das sind so weise Worte. Das sind so weise Worte, oh mein Gott. Das muss man wirklich, das muss man an die Wand hängen, das ist doch wirklich so. Wenn du dir manchmal anschaust, was Leute so als gutes Essen empfinden, oh mein Gott. Oder halt, was weiß ich, alles einfach drin, das ist so richtig ungesund einfach. Denkst dir, okay, ich sag einfach nichts.
Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but...
Nicht unbedingt, naja.
In that case...
Dorothea?
Oh, sorry. I got a bit caught up in my thoughts there. But I think it might be just as you say. Will you indulge me for a moment?
Sure. What's on your mind?
When I first started singing, I did it for me. Only me. But it wasn't long until Manuela discovered my gift. So, I joined the opera company. It felt... incredible. I wanted the whole world to hear my singing. But once I became a songstress, I started attracting more and more attention from the nobles. Before I knew it, I wasn't singing for myself anymore. I was singing for them. Now you can't even appreciate my songs if you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
Ja, schwierig. Versuchen wir mal, sie aufzumuntern.
That might be true, but like I said, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. So many people would kill to be able to do what you can do. So don't belittle yourself like that. Your singing is incredible, Dorothea.
I appreciate that. I really do. But I still can't help but wonder.
Oh je. Ja, aber verständlich, muss man auch sagen. Ne? Ja, ist interessant. Da leidet letztendlich die Leidenschaft drunter sehr stark dann. Irgendwann an einem gewissen Punkt. Kann ich nachvollziehen, ja. Doch, auf jeden Fall. Dann nehmen wir auf jeden Fall noch alle Supports mit, das sollte auch klar sein. Übrigens, das war jetzt auch nochmal die Bestätigung. Auch wenn sie ja von den Adlern stammt. Mit Shez hat sie definitiv andere Supports auf dieser Route jetzt zum Beispiel. Also super interessant, das mitzunehmen, ne? Also ganz, ganz wichtig. Ist dann doch routenexklusiv, was man dann in Gesprächen bekommt anscheinend. Oder es war nur, dass die das Beispiel abgeändert haben. Wenn sie das getan haben, ist aber auch schon Liebe zum Detail, was ich sehr schätze, muss ich sagen. Ah ja, da haben wir auch den nächsten Support. Gut, dann machen wir hier doch weiter, klar.
Excuse me. May I ask for your ear?
Sure thing. What's on your mind?
I have the desire to be learning more about mercenaries. It is a subject of much fascination to me.
Sure, I guess. But I think you've heard most of the exciting bits by now.
Nonsense. Each word you speak is full of excitement. Please give me more illumination. For example, are you receiving payment for your work here?
Sure, me and Dimitri have a contract. Lucrative one too, as these things go. Guess the boss thinks pretty highly of me.
You said money was of importance for people who sell their swords. But what if an enemy offered a bigger payment? Would you be taking it?
Kein anständiger Söldner nimmt das an. Wow, kein anständiger, ist halt die Frage, was ist ein anständiger Söldner? Aber gut.
You'd need more than that to get a true merc to switch sides. Still, if an enemy can outbid your current employer, it means they've got a good shot at winning. And nobody who enjoys breathing wants to wind up on the losing side.
So in Fodlan, one must try to be allies with the side that has more richness?
See, that's the thing. Trust is its own currency too. I mean, let's say someone shows up with a pile of gold and asks you to switch sides. Tempting, right? But you gotta be careful. You could take them up on their offer, only to learn that the money was just bait, and the guy actually wants you dead. And to make things worse, the honest employer you just stabbed in the back now knows you're as reliable as a three-legged horse. Point is, integrity means more to a mercenary than money. Probably should have led with that, actually.
I have understanding. Trust is of importance to everyone. But that has even more truth for a seller of swords.
You got it. Oh, and trust me, folks who hire for the best jobs make sure to know everything about you before extending the offer. But there's a flip side to that coin. If you're the type of employer who likes to leave mercs in the lurch, hard enough to stay alive without that nonsense.
That is a thing we all share in common. We wish to keep breathing, as you said. And what if I was offering a job? We are on the same side. Would that be betrayal? Bridget is a land of richness. We can offer much in exchange for the selling of your sword.
Witzig, dass er so rüberbringt. Naja, ich meine, danach braucht er als Söldner vielleicht auch wieder einen Auftrag.
Sounds tempting, but I can't. I've got to see my current contract through first. Also, didn't we just get done discussing how terrible it is to abandon a job before it's done?
I knew you would be declining. You are the model of a mercenary.
Nett. Schöner Support. Einfach mal ein bisschen über Söldner gequatscht. Warum auch nicht? So. Ah ja. Ein bisschen was ist gelockt, aber wir können mit Mercy sprechen. Alles klar.
Goodness, but that is heavy.
Could you grab the feet over there, Mercedes?
Yes, of course. Give me one moment, please.
Please, don't push yourself if you're tired. I can do it.
Well, we managed to finish. I'm so sorry for leaving the bulk of the work to you.
Do not worry about it. You are always helping me with so many other things. Besides which, I am used to taking care of horses. It barely even feels like work anymore.
I suppose House Galatea is famous for its Pegasus nights.
Yes, though they are costly to care for, so we don't keep many. When I was a child, I often helped my older brothers tend to both our Pegasi and our horses.
I forgot that you have brothers.
Yes, my eldest brother acts as our father's advisor, while the other serves a different family as a knight.
You must have been very close. It's wonderful.
I suppose, though we hardly ever played together. The age gap was just too great. My eldest brother in particular was incredibly strict with me. Whenever I would try to go horseback riding through the hills, he would say, "How dare you do something so dangerous? What if something happened to you?" What's worse, my father agreed with him. It kept me from getting out on too many adventures as a child. Thinking back on it, I understand their concern. I was the only one in the family to bear a crest, after all.
I'm not so certain your crest was a reason for their concern. I think they were worried simply because they love you. You are the youngest, yes? It's only natural for them to want to keep you safe.
Well, it is true we had a mostly good relationship, but I don't know if I'd go that far.
I'm not so sure. They would have treasured you all the same, even if you didn't bear a crest. I used to fuss over my younger brother all the time when we were little. So I understand what it's like to be an older sibling.
I hear you, but I still don't see the need to be quite so overprotective.
You protest, but I can tell you enjoyed their show of affection. In fact...
Mercedes? What are you doing?
I'm ruffling your hair, since your brothers aren't around to do it.
That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. Come, we should get back to work.
Whatever you say.
Okay. Schräger Support, irgendwie witzig. Aber ich denke, sie hat da schon recht, weil man muss ja auch bedenken, dass sie auch noch wichtige Rollen erfüllen, die Brüder jetzt von Ingrid. Insofern, ich meine, andere, die kein Wappen haben, werden in so einer Familie einfach direkt abgeschrieben. Also, da ist auf jeden Fall viel dran. Okay, Annette und Dimitri können plaudern. Sehr gut, machen wir auch weiter. Oh oh. Was ist passiert?
No, Annette! Get back!
Oh, that was a close one. Good thing we had water nearby.
My apologies. It was foolish for me to attempt that without prior experience.
No, it was my fault for asking you to try and light it with magic.
The fault is mine alone. You had no way of knowing that my aptitude for magic was so lacking. And we were lucky it only resulted in a small explosion. Had the flames spread, it easily may have proved disastrous.
Aw, don't beat yourself up over it. We were able to put it out quickly, and that's all that matters.
What a remarkably positive spin on the matter. Still, I'm relieved you weren't hurt. I have always been abysmal at magic. My father and grandfather were the same, so perhaps I inherited it from them.
Yeah. I guess you're better suited to fighting with something sharp and pointy.
Actually, I had a fair amount of interest in becoming a mage when I was a boy. An old friend of mine would give magic demonstrations, and I always found myself terribly jealous of her abilities.
Well, you know there's a school of sorcery in the capital, right? You definitely should have enrolled.
But I knew they only accepted students who display at least a modicum of talent for the craft. Every time I glimpsed one of those students, I found myself envious of their skill.
I had no idea. But hey, if you're interested, how about I teach you a bit? We can start right now.
You would do that?
Sure. See, I've been helping out at the school ever since I came back to the capital. And after talking with everyone there, I've been thinking it would be fun to, you know, teach somebody. I'd like to help people get better at magic, even if they're really, really, really bad at it.
A fine aspiration. If you'll have me, I would be honored to be your first pupil. Though I imagine your skills can be put to use helping many people besides just myself. I know I am not the first person, nor will I be the last, to accidentally conjure up an explosion.
Come on, Dimitri. It's not like I'll be that much help. But regardless, I'm confident that becoming a teacher is the path for me. Right then, Your Majesty, let's start by practicing some fire magic.
You want me to cast the same spell again? Well, if you think it best.
Fire spells are the most basic magic of all. You just let the old power build up, and then boom, let loose. Okay, so start by using your hands to focus your energy.
Like this?
Don't be so hesitant. We've got plenty of water here, so really lean into it.
I wasn't intending to hold back. Perhaps I could charge it up a bit more.
Your Majesty, are you all right?
I fear we may have a long road ahead of us.
Hier Dimitri versucht sich an Magie. Ob er mit seiner alten Freundin nur Edelgard gemeint hat, die hat ja eigentlich auch ein gewisses Talent für Magie. Wird halt nur komplett in den Schatten gestellt, weil, mächtigste Axt ever einfach und ja, no, wisst Bescheid. Der Rest ist Geschichte in Three Houses. Wir waren Lord OP und gut ist. So sieht die Realität aus. Alright. Ja, ich mag den Traum immer noch und sie ist auch unglaublich positiv immer eingestellt. Echt nett, muss man wirklich sagen. Aber wir haben auch so viele B-Supports. Ich hoffe, die gehen uns nicht weg, weil ich werde die jetzt natürlich nicht mehr machen. Ich hoffe, wir können die im nächsten Kapitel dann noch nehmen. Ich werde, glaube ich, den Fokus mal voll auf Annette legen im nächsten Kapitel. Dass wir halt sämtliche Supports sehen und dann nur noch die A-Supports fehlen. Ich meine, die ist auch schon relativ nah dran an vielen B-Supports. Aber wie immer möchte ich nichts verpassen. Mercedes und Sylvain sind jetzt noch dran.
Thank you for joining me on this moonlit stroll, my dear lady.
Thank you for the invitation. I've always been fond of such nighttime wanderings. The moon and stars are lovely, and there are also certain flowers that bloom only at night.
Count on you to know something like that. You'll have to point me in the direction of those flowers sometime.
Yes, well, what did you want to talk about?
Well, I heard you were getting engaged, and I was just wondering how you felt.
Goodness, someone is well informed.
Well, your fiancé-to-be is a noble from Gautier territory. It's only natural word would find its way to me. Are you going to accept? I mean, I don't think he's a bad guy or anything, but...
No, it's a fair question. However, as my adoptive father backs the proposal, I doubt I have much say in the matter. Though if I did, I'd likely refuse. There's still so much I want to do and experience in this world. Still, I doubt there's much hope of the parties involved relenting.
Why not just turn him down like you do all the other guys?
I've refused so many proposals that my adoptive father has run out of patience. And as he's already initiated the marriage discussions, it would be difficult to back out now.
That lowlife doesn't care about your feelings at all. He just cares about that crest of yours.
We don't choose our bloodline, just like flowers don't choose where to bloom. If being married means I will never know want, then I've no right to complain. Even if it is not my preferred outcome. You're much the same, yes? People like us have to try to bloom as best we can.
I never really thought of myself as a flower, but I get what you're saying. Flowers are stuck in the same spot for life, whether they like it or not. And if they happen to sprout in a bad area, they're out of luck. But we have legs, not roots. We can go wherever we want, and we don't have to give up on our dreams, so long as we're clever about it.
I see. And what is your clever solution in this case?
Well, if your only goal is to end negotiations with this guy, I could ask you to marry me instead.
I'm not sure I follow. You would marry me, so I don't have to marry someone else?
To be perfectly clear, I'm not making advances on you or anything, but I'm the heir of House Gautier. If I ask you, this other guy will have no choice but to bow out. Though I doubt he'd be happy about it. After that, you can do whatever you want. Go work at a church, or ladle out soup, or whatever makes you happy. I won't stop you.
But that would prevent you from marrying the person you love.
Okay, look, it's just an idea. You've got lots of options available to you.
You really do know the ways of the world, Sylvain. I've always admired that about you.
The honor of receiving such a compliment from you lifts my feet from the ground. But seriously, let me know if you need any help. I'm always here for you.
Es war trotzdem ein sehr, sehr Sylvain-typischer Support. Auch wenn er doch ja, sehr positiv verlief irgendwie. Trotzdem sind die Ideen von Sylvain manchmal schon sehr wild, muss man sagen. Oh, gleich 2 Supports hat er noch. Meine Güte, da geht's ja rund heute. So viel Sylvain-Action.
I'll figure something out, I promise. Just write to your father, okay?
I will.
Hey there, Dedu. Can I help you with something?
No, just passing by.
You sure? Looks like you really want to say something.
I was touched by your interaction with that woman.
What's that supposed to mean?
During our academy days, I often heard untoward rumors about you. You had a tendency to skip training and a certain reputation concerning women. You caused His Majesty all manner of headaches.
I can't deny that. But that's all in the past. I'm a lot more responsible these days, don't you think?
Don't expect praise for merely doing your job.
Right.
Though I have been curious about what caused this change of heart.
Change of heart might be taking it a bit too far. It's just, I always see how Dimitri and Felix are out there doing all these amazing things. So I can't very well be goofing around when they're off making names for themselves. Call it a sibling rivalry.
Sibling rivalry?
They're like brothers to me, which is exactly why I don't want them looking down on me.
I see. I understand how you feel. I had a younger sister.
Had? Oh. Tell me about her. What was she like?
She loved flowers, and often made crowns out of them. And once she set her mind to something, nothing in the world could change it.
Aw, she sounds sweet. And a little intimidating.
You cannot flirt with the dead, try as you might.
Whoa, hold on. I was just being honest. I'm sorry I never got the chance to meet her. I mean, if her protective older brother didn't kick me into next week first.
I may just have done so. Sylvain, you should visit Dusker after this war is over. My sister's grave is there. It's nothing special, but I would like to show it to you sometime.
I would love to, my friend. And I'll make sure to bring a giant bouquet of flowers with me.
She would like that. Very...
Oh. Das war aber auch sehr schön, muss man sagen. Super sweeter Support. Ach, der Dew. Es stecken schon immer wieder so traurige Elemente drin in den Dew-Supports, muss man sagen. Aber das gehört zum Charakter einfach mit dazu. Ah, der Dew und Annette, da freue ich mich tatsächlich sehr drauf. Wisst ihr warum? Allein schon wegen den Größenunterschied, das wird super lustig. Mir ist das nämlich schon bei Annette und Dimitri so stark aufgefallen. War ja schon der Unterschied gigantisch. Also zu der Dew ist der einfach absurd hoch. Ich weiß gar nicht, sind das da nicht so schon ein halber Meter oder so, müsste das dann schon sein. Das wird einfach nur lustig im Support. Machen wir hier weiter.
You're really eyeballing that giant stack of documents there, Ash. Let me see what you've got. Records of military drills, archives of city taxes. You know, if you're searching for a particular needle in this load of hay, I can help you out.
Oh, I'm not looking for anything specific. I just thought they'd be good to study.
You're going to study all this?
Yeah. With the academy closed, I haven't had a chance to focus on learning lately. So, I thought I could give my brain a nice workout by reading old records and archives.
Hey, good for you taking the initiative. If it weren't for all this fighting, you and me would be living the schoolboy's dream right about now.
Right? We could be training together, taking classes on history and magic.
And when the ethereal moon comes, we'd go dancing with all the girls at the ball.
That's not quite what I had in mind.
So, are those records actually helping you?
Yeah. The ones on old military drills are especially interesting. It's fun just looking at them.
Just looking, huh? You might want to read a little deeper there. I mean, take this one for example. It talks about how the 3 northern houses held a joint exercise in 1166. And apparently they did so in the middle of a raging blizzard.
Jetzt erwähnt er schon wieder einen Blizzard. Irgendwas mit Schnee. Es gibt keinen Schnee in Vogtland. Beweis es mir. Beweis es mir. Wo ist der Schnee? Wo ist er? Sorry, Leute. Ich kann es nur mal wieder betonen, okay? Es gibt keinen Schnee in Vogtland. Vergiss es. Never.
It was so bad that some of their soldiers died. But they went ahead and did it anyway. Any idea why?
Drills in the snow in 1166. Oh! Were they trying to prepare for a confrontation with Shrang?
Nailed it. They were training for the northern conquest they carried out a few years later. In other words, they'd already decided to try and take the north by 1166. So, if you look at the other drills during that time, you might be able to piece together what the late king was thinking.
Interesting. You know, another document did mention an exercise conducted in Guinevere.
Because they'd already predicted that Shrang forces would cross the mountains, which meant battling in harsh desert terrain.
And that's why they were forbidden from using horses during that drill. It's amazing how you really start to see the bigger picture when you dig into details like that.
And that's why keeping records is so important. Anyway, I've probably bothered you long enough.
No, wait, teach me more. I mean, if you have time.
If you really want to learn, you're better off asking an actual professor type. I'm just, Sylvain.
No, you're a great teacher, and I can always ask them things when we're in the capital, but they won't be around when we're on the march. I just want to learn more so I don't embarrass the other knights. Please?
No, not the puppy dog eyes. Oh, fine, I'll help. But don't expect too much.
Auch sehr schön, aber schade fast, dass die hier... Ah ne, doch, ihr habt noch einen A-Support. Nevermind, dann freue ich mich sehr drauf. Dann sehen wir mal, was sie noch alles herausfinden über die Geschichte von Fergus. Also zum Schluss haben wir noch Dimitri und Felix. Sehr passend mit euch abzuschließen, was? Ja, sind auch wirklich die einzigen. Finde ich gut. Machen wir so. Vor der großen Schlacht.
How long are you going to keep staring blankly like an idiot? You should eat.
You're right. My apologies.
Let me guess, you're in a tizzy about how best to make use of the Church's forces. Or maybe you're just worried about how our forces will survive the winter. Well, knock it off. A good leader knows when to let their vassals do the worrying for them.
Is that why you left your uncle in charge of House Fraldarius?
Yes. Though I've been returning to the territory the moment any issues arise with his governance.
And your mother? Is she in good health? I imagine it's difficult to manage all the family squabbles on her own.
Oh, she's fine. She's good at that sort of thing. I actually think she likes it. I suggest you focus on your own issues for once, instead of worrying about everyone else.
I'm not sure that's possible. Oh, but that does remind me. I hear the Knights wanted to hold a joint training session.
Forget it. You'll never change. I'd tell you to stop brooding so much, but I'd be wasting my breath.
I cannot afford to lose this war, Felix. I must protect the kingdom. I must avenge the fallen. Each day, we draw ever closer to those who pulled the actual strings. I've already punished any who knew of the plan and did nothing, as well as a number of middle-rank conspirators. But it isn't enough. There are still those who must answer for this crime with their lives.
You are a book with one chapter and no ending. What will you do when you actually have this revenge of yours?
I don't know. But if I can quell their grief and their hate, it will be enough. Do you hate me, Felix? After all, I saw Glenn die. I watched it and could do nothing. His end lies on my shoulders.
That's enough. I don't hate you, okay? You weren't responsible for any of that. They didn't die for your sake. They made their own choices of their own free will. Don't be so conceited.
But surely they didn't want to die. Yet they did so to protect me. Me. I am undeserving of such sacrifice.
I told you to quit brooding and eat. Your food's going to rot if you wait any longer.
Yes, of course.
Oh je, oh je. Muss aber auch sagen, dass Dimitri mit seinen Rachegefühlen schon auch eine sehr tragische Person gleichzeitig ist. Sieht man ja auch, wie er dann zum Beispiel auf anderen Routen endet in Three Houses, ne, also. Aber da ist es natürlich noch viel extremer. Weil da hast du ja diesen extremen Wandel dann gleich drinnen. Aber gut. Jetzt hatten wir sehr viele Supports. Ich würde tatsächlich noch in die Mission zumindest reinstarten. Nur auf die Karte gucken. Dass wir beim nächsten Mal wieder direkt dann loslegen können. Die Rettung der silbernen Jungfer. Jawohl. Das schaffen wir schon. Kommt die Konfrontation mit Edelgard. Ich bin super gespannt.
Bring your company over to the western wall. I'll defend the interior myself.
Yes, Lady Catherine!
Been a while since I've had the pleasure of watching you work, Catherine.
I could say the same of you. It's been, what, 2 years now since you left the Knights? You picked some time for a reunion.
The kingdom called and I answered. That's it. Besides...
What? If you got words for me, then spit them out.
Words, huh? You know, I wasn't sure what to expect when I heard there was an ex-bandit playing general over here. But your orders are precise, and you have some serious tactical know-how. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were a trained leader.
Sometimes even bandits have great commanders. Not often, but I've seen it happen.
Our lands were always under siege by Srang forces. Got defense strategies practically beaten into me when I was a little kid.
You really are the former heir to House Gautier, then. I heard a lot about you when I was a kid myself. I'd always hoped to spar with you one day. Never thought you'd end up disowned.
Cram it. I'm the one who cut ties with that rotten house of mine.
You've done well to stay alive since.
Yeah, because I've got a purpose now. I'm gonna show the world that if I act all proper, even a crestless loser like me can accomplish whatever he wants. Ugh, made me sick to my stomach hearing that drivel. Even sicker coming from some weak-willed king with a crest who's been spoon-fed his whole life.
Yet here you are, fighting in his army. And well, at that.
Yeah, turns out the king's not the only weak-willed one around here. You know what they said to me? That I wasn't gonna be held back by crests anymore. That the only thing tying me down now was my own past mistakes. Now look at me, square at the top of a squad full of crest bearers and non-alike. But ridiculous as it sounds, part of me's actually come to like it.
Lady Catherine, our enemies are within the fortress, but all of the gates were sealed.
This is Aryan Road we're talking about. There's probably more than a few hidden passageways we're not aware of in here.
The former lord of this fortress, Count Rowe, fell in battle, but I doubt he was the only one familiar with the secrets of its construction.
Then we'll have to fight them off until reinforcements arrive. I will cut these trespassers down in one fell swoop.
We don't even know how many of them there are yet. Looks like I'm finally settling my debts.
Such a bleak outlook will only consign you and your soldiers to defeat.
Why you... Forget it. Look, if you want to make it out of this alive, you'll listen close. A fortress like this has always got a secret passage. There's only a few places it could be.
The fighting has reached Aryan Road's inner walls. The enemy must have entered through some unknown route.
I'm glad they're already in. Just means more chances to show what I can do.
I appreciate your confidence. Is everyone prepared? Today, we will deal a decisive blow not only to the vile Emperor, but to all of Adrestia. And I will be depending on each and every one of you to do it. Now, with me!
Gut gesprochen zumindest, muss man sagen. Ja, Miklans Ansichten sind auch interessant, wie er sich auch als Charakter so entwickelt hat. Ah, Catherine ist diesmal mit dabei und haha, oh, Shamir und Yuri, jawohl, Leute. Aber Shamir ist auf der Gegenseite? Okay. Naja gut, ist nicht so schlimm. Also das sollte schon mal klar sein, dass wir die hier mitnehmen. Ich blende mich auch mal wieder ein hier. Jawohl. Präzisionsschützen. Aryan Rod befestigen. Damit der Gegner nur beschränkt vorrücken kann. Anscheinend gibt es jetzt diesmal hier Fallen, oder was? Faustkampfschutz. Zusätzliche Bollwerk ist immer die Frage, wo? Nee, das lohnt sich, finde ich nicht. Brauchen wir denn Axtbrecher-Training? Ich weiß nicht, wie sinnvoll das hier ist. Präzisionsschützen oder befestigen? Ich weiß nicht, was inwiefern wichtig ist überhaupt. Wenn ich das Axtbrecher-Training nehme, dann können wir das hier halt nicht mehr nehmen. Ich würde jetzt einfach mal die Präzisionsschützen dazu nehmen. Keine Ahnung, wie gut die sind. Was die so bewirken. Verschlossene Tore werden auf der Karte mit einem Schloss angezeigt. Klassen mit der Fertigkeit Schlossknacker können verschlossene Tore öffnen, indem sie mit ihnen interagieren. Okay, dann wäre das also natürlich super sinnvoll. Was haben wir denn da eigentlich? Das wird ja jetzt nicht erklärt. Ne? Da sind wie so komische Schalter. Keine Ahnung. Das ist ja äußerst strange. Oder sind das die Tore? Dann hat er mir aber gerade das Falsche... Ah ne, hier ist ein Tor. Nee, ja. Oder vielleicht sind das dann Tore, die hier nur mit diesen Hebeln aufgehen, weil hier Hebel zu sehen sind. Das kann auch sein, okay. Spannend. Ah ja, okay, ich sehe schon. Wir haben ja teilweise wirklich große Vorteile. Ja, das geht auf jeden Fall. Ich werde mich vorbereiten und dann werden wir beim nächsten Mal einfach direkt reinstarten, Leute. Insofern sehen wir uns beim nächsten Part. Bis dahin.